This is Mission Control Houston. We're continuing to receive downlink from the Space Shuttle Discovery. This is the ALFE, which is the Advanced Liquid Feed Experiment. ALFE studies the zero-gravity performance of tanks and liquid collection systems and evaluates propellant management system components under the spaceflight environment. ALFE is part of Space Test Program 1. There are 5 payloads associated with STP-1, all of which ride in Discovery's payload bay.
Okay, KT, you should be seeing the downlink for the Crow B observation now.
Okay, we have a picture.
This is Mission Control Houston. We're now receiving a recorded downlink from the Space Shuttle Discovery of the release of the unsymmetric dimethylhydrazine that was on board the chemical release observation canister B. The actual release of this chemical as part of the infrared background signature survey experiment occurred at about 4 hours ago.
This is Mission Control Houston. Current discussion in the control room is still focused about deciding on a deploy time for the chemical release observation A subsatellite. Again, that's the final, the third of 3 subsatellites that will be deployed from Discovery. 2 have already been deployed. Those 2 are currently being tracked by NASA's ground tracking network. That tracking takes a great deal of time to refine and to find out exactly how they behave in orbit. Those subsatellites do tend to experience atmospheric drag at a high rate and thus decrease their orbit and eventually begin catching up to Discovery. However, they are still very distant at one about 75 miles and another more than 60 and still separating. One about 75 and beginning to catch up to Discovery at about 4 miles per orbit. The current discussion is to allow flight controllers here to wait as long as possible and get more tracking data on those subsatellites to decide just how large a burn Discovery will have to perform in order to raise its orbit above those subsatellites and thus avoid any chance of them coming back into the proximity of the shuttle later on in the mission. This is Mission Control Houston. We're now receiving live television from the payload bay of Discovery. This view...
Discovery for payload.
Go ahead, Discovery.
Okay, thanks.
We are receiving live television from Discovery.
Discovery, I have some changes to the flight plan when you're ready.
We're continuing to receive live television from Discovery's payload bay cameras. Currently, Discovery's over the Eastern Soviet Union.
Discovery Houston, 2.5 minutes from an LOS. We're back at 1921.
Okay, we copy. We'll talk to you then.
Discovery now just northeast of Moscow over the Soviet Union. Discovery continuing its trek across the Soviet Union as the sky is clearing. Currently crossing over areas of tundra.
Okay, Discovery, we're with you in the flight deck.
Welcome aboard.
Thanks.
Okay, Marcia, if you're watching our ground track, you can probably tell we just went over India and the Ganges River Basin at the base of the Himalayas. So we've had several opportunities on the flight so far to take a look at that area and photograph it well and see all the tributaries and how they mesh together.
Great.
Marcia, we know you're lying. You're looking at 3 guys that haven't taken a shower in 5 days.
Yeah, but y'all are smiling, and that's the best part.
Along with their experiment activities today, the crew of Discovery will have an opportunity for several Earth observations. The first of those will be of Ireland and the United Kingdom on orbit 81, the Andes Mountains on the Peruvian coast of South America. That's on the west coast of South America. The Andes Mountains may be photographed by the crew on orbit 87 during the day. Later on in the day, though, on orbit 87, the crew may have a chance to photograph a Central American smoke pall that has been documented by both shuttle flights and manned space photography, as well as satellite imagery for 5 consecutive weeks now. That smoke pall is over Central America and has drifted as far east as Florida at times, as far north as Houston, creating hazy days in Houston, and a current recent wind shift has pushed that smoke far west so that it's spreading over the Pacific Ocean. That smoke's caused by seasonal brush fires in the area as part of agricultural burning.
now 10 seconds away from the deploy of the canister containing monomethylhydrazine rocket fuel. Deploy confirmed on the ground. This view is of the new Space Shuttle Endeavour, as Endeavour is mounted atop NASA's second shuttle carrier aircraft. Endeavour is preparing to